Good afternoon, and welcome to Man Cave Meditations. Let's dive in. So, as we see currently with this latest scandal, the Epstein scandal, which I previously have spoken about. I knew it had legs, but just was it last night? The Wall Street Journal posted an article about a picture that Trump had sent to Epstein in his 50th birthday, and very descriptive and cryptic, and anyone reading that article, obviously we didn't see the picture, which may or may not be forthcoming, can deduce what Trump was talking about to Epstein. The secrets have to share. He put his signature, like it was. Again, I didn't see the picture, but the description of it was just appalling. I just... And, I felt, ever since Musk sent that one tweet during the Trump-Musk fallout, when Musk sent that tweet that Trump is in the Epstein files. And if anyone can remember, there was had to be a good day, maybe 2 days, where Trump just didn't respond. And over this past decade of, national nightmare that has been Trumpism, I don't remember anything like that ever happening, where Trump has not responded for that amount of time, even close to that amount of time. Okay? Again, the playbook, like the Roy Cohn playbook, deny, attack, right? Bring your opponent down. But that time, after that tweet, silence. From him? Silence? Really? So that piqued my attention. It wasn't so much about what was being said, it was what wasn't being said. The silence, the lack of attack from him, that's what piqued my attention. And then it's not a slow drip, but you start hearing about Ghislaine Maxwell, and then this thing from the Wall Street Journal. Again, it's just it's a piece about something, an article about something that they didn't give proof for. But can you even make something like that up? How do you even make that up? What they said. were supposedly like the picture of a woman. I could get this wrong, but the picture of a woman, and her, like, he drew her breasts and like had his, signature around where her pubic area would be. Apologize if this offends anyone. And then the tight stuff in the middle, like this is something out of like the movie Psycho or Silence of the Lambs. It's gross, sick. And I saw that yesterday, and for whatever reason, unseen influence. I felt I was watching a video that mentioned the name Katie Johnson. And again, I'm not saying that any of this is true, for entertainment purposes only. But I Googled this, Katie Johnson Trump. And then it showed from 2016 when he was running to be president. This woman, who had now, at that point, a woman, right? But though at the time, it was just her testimony. It was like a 10-minute thing. And at that time, she was testifying. She was testifying about, not in a court of law, but in front of a camera, testimonial, rather, about her experiences, her encounters with Epstein and Trump. 13-year-old girl who was living in Oklahoma, went to New York City, was recruited at a bus station by this one girl named Tiffany, similar or old, I don't know, and brought to Epstein. And then she was basically recruited into this whole thing. Yeah. And in her testimony, she was saying, Trump did, her first encounter with Trump was he watch the video. Katie Johnson. But, her last encounter with him, and I'm still, as a father of 3, my oldest being, my daughter, I'm shaken up by this, just even talking about it, that her last encounter with Trump, she was tied to a bed and he raped her. 13. And the reason she was saying that he was even attracted to her was because she reminded him of his daughter, Ivanka. And of course, this came out in 2016, and she received multiple death threats and was so fearful of, afraid of testifying, can't blame her, that she withdrew her testimony in a court of law, because there was initially a lawsuit filed against Trump and Epstein during that time. But listening to her talk, and again, I'm not a polygraph, but it sounded credible to me. She was tied to this bed. He raped her. It's from her mouth. Slapped her. Told her to shut up. And then was elected president of the United States. And the only reason she said she was coming forward at that time was because she felt that the American people of this great country needed to know the truth about this man who she said in her own words in the testimony, shouldn't even be the dog catcher for the White House, let alone the president of the greatest country in the world. That was 2016. Look at that, 10 years, 9 years, whatever. Almost a decade at this point. That we've had this monster in our life. Monster in our lives. Absolute monster. And look at the damage that has been done, to the degree where it's basically normalized. A disgusting monster who surrounds himself with monsters. And if you could make it through that clip, it's out there. It's in the it's YouTube, Google, YouTube. Katie Johnson, 2016. Trump. It's wrenching. It's heart wrenching. The testimony of this woman from when she was 13 years old, telling him to stop, and he wouldn't stop. Because he doesn't know how to stop. He just wants what he wants. And he takes what he takes. Monster. And Epstein was a president. Yeah, Trump turned on him too. Destroyed him. Yeah. Think Epstein died by suicide? I don't know. Yeah, for entertainment purposes only. But you really think, Epstein died by suicide? Why? Why would he kill himself? How could he kill himself? What do you think? They're gonna leave a cord of wire in the room? And then the video that they presented is going like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, missing from it. Shit show. Idiots. Shit show. Has mainstream media covered any of this? No. I saw Jake Tapper on David Pakman this past week talking about fucking Joe Biden. We're just like talking about a mild tropical storm that happened last year while you're standing in the eye of the hurricane as it whirls around you. Clown. Total effing clown. No credibility. Clown. Sorry. I'm not saying that he hasn't worked hard, is not I'm not saying any of that. But burn that fucking book. You clown. And when asked by Pakman about Trump and his physical, mental deterioration, Tapper basically, in so many words, just blew it off. That's not going to sell my book. Not only that, if I talk about it, it'll get my company sued and probably me fired. So why the fuck would I want to do that? Think I want to put my $7 million a year salary in jeopardy? No. So let's talk about Biden. Let's talk about the tropical storm that happened last year. Well, the hurricane, the Category 5 hurricane just roars around us. Clown. Get him up. And you see Trump, as the White House just recently admitted that, probably downplaying it completely, that about Trump's medical condition. So that his veins are increased, swollen. Again, I'm no doctor, and I'm ignorant of the condition, but in so many words, what they were admitting to is a direct result of, or could be a direct result of heart failure. And as if not just his lifestyle, yeah, eat McDonald's every day, not exercise, riding in a golf cart and hitting golf balls, that's not exercise. That's not giving the body any exercise. You may think it is, but it's not. And on top of that, just all the countless, the years of evil deeds. They just take this toll on the body, which at some point, regardless of the negative spirits you have just try to prop you up within you, it's going to take its toll. So when thinking about Trump, I was thinking about his body and everything going on, and I had this image of, do you remember the Blues Brothers? Right? Jake and Elwood, the Blues Brothers. Great movie, awesome movie. But they rode that police car, the Bluesmobile. I think it was the Bluesmobile. Anyway, they gunned that police car from basically, I think it was like New York to Chicago. They averaged like 100 miles an hour the whole time. And basically half the movie was like, the state police force of whatever state they were driving through at 100 miles an hour chasing them. And then when they finally stopped the car, when they finally, either got going, they were close to they were trying to save the orphanage that they grew up in the Penguin. The Penguin, who Elwood said, you must be up, we offered you help, you said no, so you must be up shit creek. And then she beat him with a meter stick. Great. Anyway, they drove where they were driving, and in Chicago, and they finally got to where they were going, or like close enough, and then they got out of the car, looked at the car, and the car just gave in, just flattened. Like, I'm done. I'm so done. I was done probably 1,000 miles ago, but I just kept going. I'm done. Right? And then they ran the rest of the way, and then it was like, 500 police officers arrested them. What a great movie. And that's Trump's body. It's just trying to make it in another day. And I think he's on uppers, he's on something that's just keeping him going. And everybody around him in his administration, they're trying to keep him going because they know that their own self-survival, individually and collective, their self-survival depends upon him surviving. Which again, he has no idea what's going on. They're just doing their own thing. And they know that they can keep doing their own thing, being in power, making these good salaries, doing whatever they want to do, as long as he's there. If he's not there, then, well, that's a problem. So yeah, his body is just... It's given out. His will is strong. But what I feel is if this whole Epstein scandal really comes out, and it comes out in some way that he, again, Katie Johnson, 2016 testimony, that he did what he did. And the American people can just put dots together. Yeah. The reason why he's not releasing the Epstein files is because he's one of the main culprits in it. He raped young girls. Raped this girl because she looked like his daughter. and that comes out, and everything turns on him, that could be a death blow, which I certainly don't wish on anyone, even my greatest enemy. I don't wish ill health, ill will. I do not, but it could be. So, but I will say that he's not the only name that's in there. And there are others who will not want to be. And I won't say names because I don't know. And to say names is just speculation. But if certain things come out and he is shown to be involved with this, I have to think, I would pray that these people who are under the stupor of the Wizard of Oz, they will hopefully wake up to the fact that this isn't good, this is not right. Yeah. To wake up to the fact that the one that they thought was their hero is actually the villain. And that's going to turn them all upside down because they're under a spell. It's going to fuck them all up, which is actually what they need. Yeah. It's like the pimple that gets so big, you can't even, it just needs to be lanced. It needs to be popped. That's where we have gotten at this point. It needs to be popped. However you could do it, with a hot needle. We're beyond the, wiping it with some warm water and hoping it goes away. No, it has to be surgically, removed. It has to be. That's where we are. There's going to be pain. Individual and collective pain with this. And I hope that whoever can bring light to this will have the strength and the courage to do so. Because whatever you do will be for the betterment of the whole. I feel that. So, anyway, spoken too much. Lots of love. God bless.